Morning. It's about time I did a video, isn't it? Because we're a bit overdue. I will get up to do it.
Hey folks, it's Finn. Welcome back, lovely people. Thank you for tuning in. I'm really sorry it's been a couple of weeks. Thank you so much for your patience. Lots of you know it's been a bit of a roller coaster couple of weeks, but today's vlog is going to be a very positive one compared to my last upload. Got some really exciting, positive stuff to share. Well, I think it's exciting. Yeah, because today I want to talk about the whole reason why we moved to this gorgeous house in the first place, because it was all about me being able to actually get outside, get on my scooter and get out and about on my own, because I haven't for an entire year, so there's been some developments in that I want to share about today. But before I get on to that, I just want to say hello firstly to anyone tuning in who's new around here. Welcome to the Finn fam. If you have just stumbled across me for the very first time, hello. I love it when I hear in the comments that people just accidentally found me. I do love that. Welcome if you've accidentally found me. If you've been accidentally finding me and watching my content for a while and you haven't subscribed, please do, because then you'll get notified and stuff, and it's always nice to find new likes and new subscribers. Lets me know that you like my stuff, so thanks. I've forgotten what I was saying already. By the way, if you are new, I'm doing imperfect content where I just share exactly what it is like to have ME. I'm not editing because it's too energy consuming, so you're just getting what is happening with me day to day, which is like my brain doesn't work anymore and I forget what I'm saying. So yeah, before I go into this exciting and positive thing, I want to say a massive thank you for all your amazing comments on my last vlog. I was so scared about sharing it because benefit stuff, it always gets mixed reception, always gets a lot of bad comments. There's so much stigma around claiming benefits. And it was just really nice to have my own anger echoed back at me. Do you know what I mean? Because I mean, I felt so angry at all the lies in the report and all the misgendering. But then you start thinking, am I overreacting? But then to see everybody's comments and just think, no, of course I'm not overreacting, So, of course I don't want to make anyone angry and upset. But to know that everyone's angry and upset on my behalf kind of validates that. Does that make sense? So it was just lovely to have that from you. So thank you so much. And all everyone's kind words and pointers, people that have been through this themselves. It really, really helped as well to just make me keep going. And I'm really pleased to say that I took a week where I just completely ignored that form. And then I got on with the mandatory reconsideration. Can't even say that. And it took a week. It was hell. I am going to be honest and say that I ignored my pacing. I didn't look after myself. I didn't eat properly. I didn't sleep properly. But I got it sent off. But that's the only way to do these things. And this is the thing that really annoys me when they say, oh, you did it without help. When you have an energy limiting condition, you try and get help. Because to get help means going to an appointment. I have to get up, washed, dressed, out the house, on some transport, to the appointment, talk to somebody, organise it all, and do the same again. That's exhausting. So even though it's not easy doing this form, it's easier to just do it at home in my pajamas, tapping away at it with help from online forums. Do you know, it's just, you can't win either way. If it goes to appeal, then I will be contacting the Citizens Advice Bureau and getting somebody to help me with it. But I just use all the advice people sent me. They sent me to so many different websites and people even shared their own forms with me to help. I'm so grateful it's done. I know that most mandatory reconsiderations fail still because this is our system and we go to appeal. But at least now, even if it fails, I've got the basis of an appeal with that, what I've written. So, yay. Having it gone, if you follow my social media, you'll see I posted some relieved faces, which look like a bit like I'm having a poo, but actually it's my relieved face. To see that gone was amazing. So yeah, it's been a bit of a roller coaster couple of weeks with what happened, getting that form in, but now it's the relief of having that done. But look, I'm waffling on, and we're on 3 minutes already, so stop waffling, Finn. Let's get into the positive stuff. So thank you, people, for that. Positive stuff is this. So, over the last year, I'm going to take a breath. Regulate one's nervous system. I'm learning this business. Okay, so over the last year, with my mobility, I have been unable to get out. We've sat and worked out over the last year, there's been a handful of times where I've gone out on my own, and the distances I've gone out on my own have gradually decreased to like the corner shop. This is when we were living in our flat. And over the last 6 months, I haven't been out on my own at all without Chris's help. It's had to be Chris helping me down the stairs, getting the mobility scooter out of the boot to go anywhere. So over the last 6 months, not been out on my own at all. So the whole reason of moving to a house was so that we put my lovely shed up in the garden and have the mobility scooter in the shed in the garden so that I can get the confidence to get the scooter out and get out my own. Easier said than done, because I also have an anxiety disorder, and the way I manage my anxiety disorder is by challenging the anxiety, which means forcing myself out of the house, which is what I've done for the last, however old I am, I'm 48, and I've lived with anxiety all my life. But over the last 10 years, I've learned that the best way of managing anxiety is just to push through it, right? But I'm out of practice with that because I've been indoors for a year. So my anxiety is massive, and now it's got new things to be anxious about, like going out on my own in a mobility scooter and all these new things to worry about. Like, what if I get stuck? What if I can't find a drop down curb? What if it breaks down? How do I get on a bus? And all these new things to worry about. So every time I try and go out on my own, I've been chickening out. So although I'm really used to handling it and using it now and really confident, it's always with Chris. And we've been here since June, July, August, September, October. Been here 5 months. And I haven't been out on my own. Now, I'm not kicking myself for this because I've given myself a break, thinking that, you know, there was a lot to adjust to the move. I'm not going to be hard on myself. But it was getting a bit like, come on, Finn, you do need to do this. But anyway, I was contacted to see if I was available to do some work in London. And my first thought was, no, absolutely not. I cannot do this. I can't get to London. But they offered to get me a cab because they knew I had mobility issues. They said, oh, look, we'll get you a car, we'll pick you up, we'll take you to London, we'll make sure you've got transport to and from the venue that we're going to be working at. Can you do it then? And I thought, you know what? Let's do this. I'm well protected there. I've got somebody on hand to look after me. I'm only going to be alone in the hotel. Let's just do this. I know you all want to know why I went to London, and I can't wait to tell you why I went to London. But at the moment, my hands are tied. I'm not allowed to tell you yet. As soon as I can, I will. But I can share all the adventures of going to London. This is what I'm doing now, so at least I can share this bit. So this is what I did. So I needed to get out of my comfort zone and just go out. And as per usual, I didn't just get my scooter out and go around the block. I went to London. So that's one way of conquering it, isn't it? So it was incredible. I was so anxious. Thank you ever so much to my members on Discord who sat with me while I was in the taxi on the way, really freaking out internally about lots of different things and just kind of kept me calm. It turned out to be just like an incredible adventure. And there were just things I hadn't considered, like the taxi driver dropped me off, got me out at the taxi, put my scooter together, off he went. And I couldn't find the disabled door for the hotel. So I had my pull-along suitcase. I was driving the mobility scooter, my pull-along suitcase, and I actually went through those revolving doors with my mobility scooter and a pull-along suitcase. And I managed it. And then to go to my room, there was doors, but not push button doors. They were all fire doors. Some of them pulled, some of them pushed. And there were three of them between the reception and my room. And then, even though my room was disabled access, excuse me, to get in my room, it was still a big fire door. So I've had to learn how to control my scooter with one hand slowly, so that I can go forward to a door and then reverse to pull the door enough to push the door open and then go through it. I've got it down to a fine art now. It's amazing. But it's all these little things that would have really scared me. And even more than that, it's the other stuff, like asserting my needs, like with the taxi man, and having to say, having to stand there and say, yes, you put my scooter together like this, and just stand there and watch him. And like everything in me wants to help, because I struggle to just tell people what to do. I'm a doer. And in me, I just want to go, I'll do it and just put it together. And I know I can't, because I have an energy limiting condition. This is the whole point. So having to like look like I'm able bodied is so difficult. I mean, I wear the sunflower lanyard, but I just like all these difficult feelings come up of like getting out the taxi and going, okay, this now take my scooter apart and put it together. All the people that are involved in the work that I was doing in London knew about my condition and the things I struggle with, so they were really patient. I have to walk very slowly, so they were wandering around, following me around with chairs, that whenever I needed to sit down, they were there on hand with a chair. And I had to be really kind of mindful and say, okay, now I need to stop. I can't do any more for 20 minutes. I need to go and lie down and close my eyes for 20 minutes. And just being really assertive of my needs. And that was really good for me, because this is what's been putting me off going out on my own, because I know that I can be really bad at just thinking, oh, I don't want to ask, so I'll just do it. And that puts me at danger, So it's just been a really amazing experience to go all the way to London. I could have just done it locally, couldn't I? But yeah, to actually manage that all on my own was incredible. I don't recommend for your first time that you just go all the way to London, by the way. To just do it locally, it'd be much easier. But now, I mean, anything round the corner is so much easier. I've since now been to the shops, and it just seems like a complete breeze compared to that. I'm still really anxious in terms of crossing roads and all of that on my own, because I mean, I have a problem crossing roads anyway. I've made a video ages ago about my issues around social anxiety, and like I have to use there's buttons that people use when they've got sight challenges, and they're like sensory buttons underneath. My brain's forgot the word. When you press the button to cross the road, when the light goes and there's a sound, there's also a sensory button, and I use that because that helps with my anxiety, because I often find sensory overload. I can't look at cars, look at the green man, work it all out. So I wait for the sensory button to tell me to cross the road. And now that's not available where I live. And I couldn't do that on Molly anyway, because I couldn't control the scooter and look at that. So it might sound daft, but this is how I manage my anxiety. So I'm having to learn not only to get out on my own with a mobility scooter, but also completely new ways to manage my anxiety out now, so, but I'm glad that I had such a massive kick out in London. I mean, it wasn't an extreme kick out the front door, but that extreme kick out of the front door to London is probably what I needed to now kick me out the front door here, if that makes sense. Because anything compared to London, it just feels a bit easier. I've waffled for 14 minutes. But does this make sense? It's a really positive thing. I'm so proud of myself. And for those who followed me on social media with this, thank you for joining in with the excitement of it all. It was just, so much fun to get myself down to the breakfast hall and get my own breakfast and all this stuff I rely on Chris for, to open a door, to grab me something, to ask people something. I had to do all that myself. And I said before, that dependency isn't actually that bad. I've learned that with this illness. There's different types of being dependent, and dependency in itself isn't a bad thing. It's the nature of that dependency that's good or bad. There is no such thing as good or bad anything. It is the nature in which we use a thing that makes it good or bad. It's the healthiness of it. And if you need help and you ask for it, that's a good thing. So therefore, dependency in itself isn't a bad thing. But to learn and to be able to do things for myself when it's healthy for me to do so is also good as well. I mean, I couldn't do that all the time, and it was too much. To have had somebody with me to do some of it would have helped. Had it been for any longer, it probably would have done me harm. I mean, I had lots of other help during the day, which helped, and I was able to get like meals delivered to the room to eat, which helped. So, you know, it was like on a cusp of any more looking after myself would have been a little bit over the top into like pushing me into post-exertional malaise. But again, it's this another thing I've talked about when you a little bit of post-exertional malaise for self-esteem and good mental health is worth a risk. Do you know what I mean? This illness is so much of a balance, especially when I've got mental health challenges and ME, because sometimes you have to prioritize one or prioritize the other, and you can't like look after both equally. It's really difficult. But anyway, it's positive. I had such a good time, and it was just so good. There's so many other good things that came out of it that I will be telling you about very, very soon. I can't wait. Right. 16 minutes. Sorry. Okay, I have some notes of things I want to say. I have made a few notes just because... Hang on, I've got a notification. Get rid of that. I was going to forget this otherwise. I always like to say a welcome to new members, and I forget so much. So while I remember, I want to say a massive welcome to our latest Friends of Finn member and supporter. Welcome to Ashton Partida. I hope I've said that right. Who is our latest Friends of Finn supporter. And a massive welcome to Frogboy, who has also turned up on our Discord server, which has made me so happy, who is our newest Friends of Finn member. And we have another Friends of Finn member over on Ko-fi, who I haven't yet seen on Discord, but you're more than welcome. And that is Sheppy's Escapee. I don't know if I've said that right. Members, if you ever have any trouble finding your perks, let me know in the comments. Give me a shout and I will help. Also, I want to say a massive thank you to Smooth Operator and Julian for leaving me a Ko-fi tip. And your lovely messages of appreciation really meant the world to find those, so thank you. And a massive sorry. This is like reading out like the minutes of a meeting, isn't it? Massive sorry to Kevin, who bought a copy of my book, and in my 2 weeks of rollercoasterness, I completely missed the notification, so I've only just posted it out. So this is a massive shout out to you to say congratulations on starting Tea. And the book is sent with so much love. It's winging its way to you now. And it's got a little extra something in there to say sorry that it's been delayed, but it's on its way. Sorry. Yeah, so that's my notifications. This video has been a little bit all over the shop, hasn't it? Oh, and this, by the way, you know this tennis elbow thing that I've been desperately trying to get an appointment for? Honestly, trying to get an appointment for a GP in the UK at the moment is like, it's worse actually than trying to get a Glastonbury ticket. It really is. So eventually I have a new doctor's now, and I saw this wonderful physiotherapist at my doctor, like a real human, face to face, everything. And she's diagnosed it. She said it is definitely tennis elbow, but it's complicated by my ME because my body's just doing weird stuff. And it's affecting all of the ulnar nerve, which is why I'm getting this weird burning sensation all down my arm and into my wrist and my fingers, and why my arm is just not working properly. So rather than putting the tennis elbow splint on my elbow, we're trying this instead, which is like a wrist splint to stop my wrist from doing this. No comment. Which will hopefully give my wrist some rest and stop it. I've had it on for a week, and I'm doing these exercises as well. And touch wood, it seems to be improving, so that's good, because I could do without that really. So yeah, that's my update. Failed. It's still 20 minutes. Do you mind? I'm really sorry. I do try and keep it under, but it's just so difficult because I have so much to say, especially because I haven't seen you for 2 weeks. By the way, If you wonder where my eyebrows are, if you see them, let me know. I decided to have a little trim for you before this video. And I do my eyebrows as well because the older I get, the bushier they get. And I forgot to change the setting before I did them. So that's why they're like this. Right, they say that cognitive dysfunction in ME isn't that much of a problem. This is proof that cognitive dysfunction in ME is dangerous because look what happens. You end up without any eyebrows, and that's dangerous. Oh my god, I tell you what, the me of 6 months ago would just forget this video and not upload it because I just feel like it's a complete mess. But hey, I've missed you. You tell me you've missed me. So this is this week's offering. Enjoy. Yeah. Right, I will be back next week with something else that might make more sense or it might not. We'll see. I look forward to seeing your comments on this week's video. Love you loads, thanks. Do you like my t-shirt? It makes complete sense this week. It's apt. This week, I've got too much brain fog today to be making this video. That's what the problem is. This t-shirt, I was going to call it a video. This t-shirt is very apt today, isn't it? Love you, bye.
So talking